Another important aspect of writing Python code is how you deal with errors and bugs that might be present in your code. You could be writing code for yourself alone, but you could also write code that other people use. Regardless, it's a good practice to be able to appropriately deal with errors and bugs that appear in your code. And one way to deal with that is by using the try and except, so the try except combination. Now, let's take a quick example so that you better understand this. Let's say you've created a function that takes a URL as a parameter and brute forces for web directories in that URL. Let's say you give the function the name scan URL, so scan URL, and the way to use the function would be scan URL, that's how you call it, and then you have the website .com as a parameter, and it will brute force for web directories in that URL. However, if someone doesn't know the correct way of using it, and instead of providing the URL as a parameter, they provide an IP, the code will break with an error. So in this case, if someone calls scan URL with let's say 192.168.1.1, this will cause an error, probably a type error, and the program, the script or the code will exit or break. Now, an elegant way to deal with this situation is to encapsulate the running of the function, the running of the scan URL function, in a try except statement, such as try scan URL and the parameter of string type. Okay, and then you'll say except print, please provide a URL within quotes as a parameter. Okay. And what happens in this case is that if there is any error that might break the code, Python catches it, goes all the way to the except statement, and instead of showing you the error or breaking out of the code, it will execute whatever is in that except statement. In this case, it will print the message, please provide a URL within quotes as a parameter. And seeing that, you will know what to do to avoid the error or to call the function correctly. In this case, because I only called the except without any other word alongside, it will catch all the errors by printing the exact same message. However, you can catch multiple errors and you can be very specific in doing so. As is in the case, you could say except, let's say type error, print error 1. You could have except attribute error, print error 2, and you could also have except print error 3. Okay, so in this case, if the program encounters a type error, it's going to print error 1. So of course you start with the try. Let me actually make this separate. Let's say try, and then you have, let's say, scan URL parameter of string type. And then you have an exception of type error. If it encounters this error, it's going to print error 1. If it's going to encounter an attribute error, it's print error 2. Or if it's going to encounter any other type of error, it's going to print error 3. Now, these types of errors, the type error and attribute error, are defined in the standard Python library. But you can create errors, you can create errors according to your specific needs. And I will not go into the details of that. My focus was just to give you a briefing on how to elegantly deal with errors in Python and write good code. I will provide a few mandatory readings in the document that comes along with this video, and I want you to study them in depth so that you can learn and get into the complexities of exception handling with Python.